Today's going to be a pretty political day. It's something that I've wanted to talk about for quite a long time. There's just been other things to talk about that, and I've been waiting for a few strikes to fall off of the channel, and you know what, hey, with a little luck and a little bit of foresight, I've been able to plan things accordingly. So now that we got a little bit of free time, and especially given the fact that these trials are going to be coming up, I think it's about time we circle the wagons on this stuff, shall we? So if you'd like to indulge me for a moment, let's take a look at what's happening in the great state of Arizona, or the formerly great state of Arizona, because holy is there some sus stuff going on down there. Judge dismisses a Republican's election lawsuit in Arizona's statewide race. This is not the Kari Lake lawsuit, because I seen this at the same time that there was a couple of developments in that one, which we'll get to very, very shortly. It's just unfortunate, right? Because there are three Republican candidates that were all packaged together. They all thought that, you know what, hey man, we're just going to go out. We're going to be a cohesive, united front that's going to be out there. And they were polling tremendously well. All of the metrics pointed to them winning those elections until the days, weeks, just about a month later, and then eventually the races started to get called because the Democrats crossed the finish line. And it's like, well, what the fuck has actually happened? The only guy who looks to have been bowing out of the race and isn't party to any of the lawsuits that I've seen so far is Blake Masters. And it's like, I don't know, man. Arizona Senate candidates, they just don't seem to really have the fight that's out there. Listen, I liked Blake Masters. I liked his platform. I just seen a couple of things that he was doing. I didn't have the inside track on his campaign or anything like that. I just, hey, I thought he would have been a hell of a good senator, especially over the Chinese-funded Mark Kelly. But, oh well, 6 years later, maybe we'll just have some kind of a run back on that one. No use crying over spilt milk, I suppose, but let's cover the groundwork, because there's going to be a lot of talk about this. Oh, there's another lawsuit that already got tossed. What are you even doing, Kari Lake? Well, we'll just cover this one to just go ahead and really drive home the fact that her lawsuit wasn't the one that was tossed out beforehand, okay? And even what is this one actually about? An Arizona judge has dismissed a Republican candidate's lawsuit challenging the election results of the Secretary of State race. Okay, that's interesting, because Katie Hobbs, the would-be governor, was the former Secretary of State, okay? And the Secretary of State also runs the elections. It's funny, Democratic Party candidate Adrian Fontes, who was also previous to winning the election there, okay, to become the new Secretary of State, was the recorder in Maricopa County for 2018, 2020, 2022. Very interesting, based on information we know about some of those elections that went through at those times. Now he's going to be running all of the elections for all of the states going forward. Fucking wild, don't you think? Anyways, beat Republican candidate Mark Fincham. That would be the guy pictured up there at the top with a fucking sweet mustache and the cowboy hat as well. It's like, that is Arizona incarnate, and with the tacky fucking America tie. Nothing against America, and definitely nothing against that tie. It's just like, come on now. That guy couldn't be more of an anachronism. But yes, beat candidate Mark Fincham by over 120,000 votes in Arizona Secretary of State race in the midterms, according to the election results certified on, yes, December 5th. And Doug Grab Your Ankles Ducey was more than willing to certify all of that stuff. Sit down at the very ample desk to shake the blubbery fist of Katie Hobbs. Oh, she's going to be such a great person. Oh my God, she's going to lead this great state into the future, you fucking simp. God fucking Ducey's a irrelevant cunt bag. God, he's just gonna fucking fade into the annals of history. Oh well, Fincham filed a lawsuit 4 days later after the state certified the election results, alleging various issues happened during the election. Current Secretary of State, and what would that be, Governor-elect, and Katie Hobbs, and Fontes both filed on December 13th to dismiss the lawsuit. Melissa Eiler Julian, I'm so many different inflections. I don't know the way to say that, okay? Because I definitely know it's not Eiler Julian. An Arizona Superior Court judge in Maricopa County dismissed Fincham's lawsuit on this past Friday, with a point-by-point rebuttal in the ruling. Great, wonderful, fantastic. Well, you're a threat to our democracy, and Katie Hobbs is a lovely woman, so I won't hear anything that you guys are doing. Judge granted Hobbs and Fontez's motion to dismiss the case and confirm the elections of Fontez as the next Arizona Secretary of State. What was their logic behind this? Because that's what I want to know about that. Julian Kant also granted requests from Hobbs and Fontez to file applications for sanctions. Oh, great, wonderful. This doesn't sound like a politically motivated ruling at all whatsoever. No, couldn't possibly be the case. Counsel for Hobbs and Fontez could file a motion for sanctions within 10 days of the ruling. The motion for sanctions will be considered separately. It's unclear if Fincham will appeal the ruling. The Epoch Times reached out to his campaign for comments. I just want to know what that is. So, Mohave County. We talked about this, okay? They were one of the counties that did not certify the results of their election. Ultimately, it's a largely ceremonial ruling when it's all said and done, but it is necessary. And it also gives traction to, oh yeah, this being a politically motivated decision because, okay, cool. So you have counties that are still contesting the elections that went on underneath the rules in which that are being contested for this lawsuit. But then you want to sanction somebody because of a frivolous lawsuit. Doesn't really compute, you overly litigious bitch. Fincham challenged this election results from several fronts, one of them being the certification process of Mohave County. Mohave County supervisors were forced to certify the results under threat of prosecution from Hobbs' subordinate, Kari Lake, he alleged. Yeah, that makes sense. If Mohave County does not perform their ministerial duties to canvass your election results today, we will have no other choice but to pursue legal action and seek fees and sanctions against your board. Lorick wrote in an email, how great. You go ahead and you do this, okay? Even if you guys think that there is something funny about these elections, you just have to go ahead and fucking certify our queen, goddammit. Lorick wrote in an email, yes, to Mohave County Board on November 28th. Our office will take all legal action necessary to ensure the Arizona voters have their votes counted, including referring the individual supervisors who vote not to certify for criminal enforcement. Great. Enforce the will of somebody you are uncertain of their vote totals within the confines of your own county. Makes sense. One supervisor admitted that he voted to certify the results under pressure. Very interesting. Very interesting. And then the lawsuit, don't know how well it's written or anything like that. We haven't actually gotten to the lawsuit per se, the one that Fincham filed. But there is all of these red flags, but it was so egregious that he filed this, that sanctions are being afforded to them. Very, very interesting. I vote aye under duress. I found out today that I have no choice but to vote aye or I will be arrested and charged with a felony. Mohave County Board of Supervisors Chairman Ron Gould said in casting his vote on November 28th. I don't think that what the founders had in mind is to use their democratic process to elect our leaders. Yep. However, another Mohave Board supervisor, Hildy Hanguis, of course, said it's meaningless to delay the certification. Of course, because I'm sure the person that you voted for, oh, they got across the finish line, right? Delaying this vote again will only prolong the agony without actually changing anything. Oh, great. Just follow along, bro. It doesn't change anything, dude. What we certify here today is only Mohave County's vote. Yeah, see, it doesn't really much matter. It doesn't matter what happens to us plebs here. Okay, the people in the Capitol have spoken. Just fucking do the thing. Hater. I'm confident about this county under Mohave County Elections Director Alan Tempert and County Recorder Christy Blair. I do not certify this election at all. Oh, to not certify this election at all, I think, was never our intent. I think. Well, this is somebody who's on the Board of Supervisors. Wouldn't you think that they should probably know? They shouldn't have to think about this stuff? Just wondering. It would certainly disenfranchise the voters of Mohave County and hurt our candidates who worked so hard to get elected. You are literally threatening our democracy if you don't vote to certify. Even if you have questions and people you think within the confines of our county are being disenfranchised, you are literally a threat to our elections. Fuck you. So yeah, all of that's just kind of rendered moot because there's still one outstanding lawsuit that's out there. That would be Miss Kari Lake's, okay? And that's for the governorship, and it's been a hot second, and she's been out there on the stump because her lawsuit must have been, presented in front of a different judge, okay? Because I've been hearing some things about this stuff. I've been hearing that she's got some pretty good basis to it. Some people who are actually in the know about this stuff, not some people who are just really putting a lot of hope and faith into this stuff. No, people who are on the ground and no election laws, okay? They think that there's a pretty good chance that this goes somewhere, and so far, I think it's survived a motion for dismissal, and it's even picked up a W along the way. But Kari Lake's been out there promoting this shit because, hey man, this is why I like her, okay? Like, I'm hard on a bunch of politicians, but Kari Lake, she is the one that I'll champion, and for all the good that she's doing. She hasn't even taken office, and she is still fighting for the Arizona person more than anybody else who's out there. Kari Lake says people mess with the wrong bitch. Yo, you fuck with the wrong bitch, motherfucker, during a Mar-a-Lago speech. Listen, I don't like the crass language or anything like that, but you know, you're on the wrong track, or you're on the right track here. I'm just joking, man. You need a hardcore pop-hitting motherfucker if you're gonna be running for governor, okay? And it's like I've been saying before, okay? Like, for dating a woman or for, you know what, being friends with a man, those are totally different criteria than what you want from your leaders, your elected leaders, okay? You want exceptional individuals, okay? And while I normally wouldn't, you know, be championing a strong, independent boss babe or anything like that, a really masculine woman, if she's going to be running for governorship, she better have all of those fucking go-getter attributes, and she has them in fucking spades. Arizona gubernatorial candidate, still a candidate by the way, Kari Lake has again said that the recent election was taken under some sort of duress. That's all of her allegations, okay? Not mine, of course. Oh, you know, hey man, Katie Hobbs is definitely the correct winner. Still gotta walk this fucking goofy line, but that's what's been certified so far. And without standing, this election lawsuit right here is likely to stay that way. Okay, good. We got everything covered. We got our bases covered over there. All right, good. And appeared to warn those responsible that have messed with the wrong bitch. Oh, you fuck with the wrong bitch. Starts taking off her fucking earrings and snapping off her acrylic nails. And Lake, a Republican, made the remarks at former President Donald Trump's Mar-a-Lago estate in Florida. Oh, was Kanye West and Nick Fuentes there, or are we just having a separate dinner? And a video of her comments have been shared to Twitter by the Republican Accountability Project. The group describes itself as Republicans and conservatives. Well, hopefully it's just conservatives that, you know, vote in Republican primaries, because being an actual Republican in today's day and age, sheesh, defending pro-democracy and holding accountable those who tried to overturn the election. Which election are you talking about? You know, if you know, you know. Arizona Democratic Secretary of State Katie Hobbs narrowly defeated Lake in the governor's race, but the former TV anchor has filed a lawsuit challenging the results. Yes, it's been filed, and it's been partially ruled on so far. To watch these evil bitches, can I say that here? Is that alright? Lake said in a video. To watch them steal this in broad daylight, and they think they are going to get away with it. They're messing with the wrong bitch, okay? Holy. She a couple of glasses of wine deep on this one. I like it, but it's not something that you normally see from a politician. I'm not saying that bad. I like it. I like it a lot. Fight like hell. Fight like hell. In a separate video shared to Twitter by Patriot Takes, which describes itself as researchers monitoring and exposing right-wing extremism, the crowd could be seen cheering Lake. Oh my god, look at all those right-wing extremists. It's like, bruh. Lake has filed a lawsuit that argues Republicans in Arizona's Maricopa County, which is the state's most populous, yes, was disproportionately affected by balloting problems on election day because he outvoted Democrats by 3-1 in the election on November 8th. Yeah, it's all very interesting. And the fact that it took, what, how many weeks to count all the ballots? Yeah, I didn't fucking stutter. I didn't stammer on that one. Weeks to count all of the fucking ballots. And it wasn't like there was a lot, okay? There was 2 million, okay? Florida got everything done in a couple of hours, okay? And that was tens of millions of votes. Every other state was all done and dusted, okay? But Arizona was still there going, 1, 2, damn it, 1. It's like they had one motherfucker out there on the fucking counting machine, which Katie Hobbs bought and has been verified to have not exactly been in the best standing going forward. But whatever. Okay, so the judge rules Kari Lake may inspect some Maricopa County ballots. What are they going to be looking for? Okay, because, yeah, there's been some W's that have been handed out in Kari Lake's lawsuit, which could, theoretically, given the margins of victories for the Secretary of State, the Attorney General, I think Abe Hamada won his election, by the way, which was just kind of an outlier. It's like, okay, cool. You put all four of those motherfuckers up there as a package deal, right? Mark Fincham for Secretary of State, Abe Hamada for Attorney General, Kari Lake for Governor, and Blake Masters for Senate, okay? They all campaigned together. They all did ads together. But the least popular one was the one that won. They all had the same platform right there, okay? And Abe Hamada was the first one to actually get the Trump endorsement, even though they all came out very, very quickly. But he was the one that won. Probably, theoretically, the most extreme, if I'm to use that term, in the confines that the left would afford to them. But he was the one that won. Interesting. Gets the noggin jogging, but the more high-profile ones, they got to take a back seat that's out there. Doesn't compute now, does it? So that's why there is a little bit of glimmer of hope for this campaign that's out there. A judge overseeing an Arizona electoral lawsuit filed on Friday that ruled on Friday that GOP gubernatorial candidate Kari Lake may appoint an inspector to analyze a small selection of Maricopa County ballots cast in the 2022 midterm election. The inspection may begin on December 20th, so this will start on tomorrow. Unless Lake's lawsuit is dismissed beforehand. I might be doing this in vain, but it's going up, and if we need to do an addendum, I'll put an addendum in the final video of the day. But as of right now, at time of recording, we're all good so far. Maricopa County Superior Court Judge Peter Thompson said in a ruling, "Oh wow, Peter, not Melissa. You get a totally different ruling. No sanctions on this one, okay? Lake, who filed a lawsuit on December 9th, seeking to overturn the election for Arizona's governor, petitioned the court to inspect a random selection of ballots cast in different Maricopa County voting centers on November 8th. So the ones that actually went down there, okay, maybe the ones that were affected by these borked ballot counting machines, which, yeah, you can go back and you can take a look at all of the articles and all of the evidence that's out there. It was confirmed that there was tabulation errors, and you just put your ballot in a box and we'll count it later, okay? It's like, were they counted? Theoretically, that's what we're told, and that's why everything took so long. Okay. The lawsuit alleged that hundreds of thousands of illegal ballots infected the election in Maricopa County. That's kind of why we tackled that Mark Fincham one that was dismissed beforehand, okay? And it's very interesting, okay? Because if they discover anything that's in here, okay, and that it just... We'll just play this out, okay? Hundreds of thousands of ballots illegally infected, okay? So something was borked in Maricopa County. Okay, so what do you do with that? Okay, the most populous county in all of Arizona. Do you dismiss it and you just go on the results of the rural areas? Democrats would be big fucking mad if that ended up happening. So, okay, if there were some disenfranchised voters that are there, what happens? Do you rerun Maricopa County? Do you rerun the entire state? What the fuck ends up happening? What do you end up finding out? Brian Bellum, Lake's attorney, stated in his petition to see the ballots that Lake cannot properly prepare for trial without such an inspection. The trial date is set for December 20th. So they can start inspecting the ballots on the 20th. Trial starts on the 20th. Doesn't make it... Okay. Thompson agreed that an inspector named by Lake may analyze 50 randomly selected mail or ballot-on-demand printed ballots. Interesting. 50 randomly selected early ballots, 50 randomly selected BOD, ballot on demand, printed ballots that were marked spoiled on election day. Okay, so I guess you'd have your control group that's out there. Okay, so it's a interesting cross-section. Very small sample size. It's better than nothing, but it's... If we're going to be completely honest, it might as well be. Because, okay, cool. You get that control group of 50 that are out there, the ones that are spoiled. Interesting. They'll all be randomly selected, and we'll just go ahead and take it at face value that it's all going to be random, 1,000% random. What are you really going to see out of the millions of people that voted in Maricopa County? I think it was 2 million that ended up 2.1 or something like that. Out of all of those people that were down there that voted, you got 50. Very interesting. Very interesting. The ballots will be randomly selected from ballots cast at 6 separate vote centers in Maricopa County, state's most populous electorate. interesting. Okay, the only request Thompson rejected was to inspect 50 randomly selected early ballot envelopes for early ballots. I wonder. Okay, what was the I could understand why you'd want to take a look at the envelopes, okay, and even if you wanted to, blot out anybody's name for security purposes. Seeing the ballots, or seeing the envelopes would also tell you a tale as to what postmarks were, if there was anything that was violative of that legislation that was in place. It's just interesting. It is ordered that Lake's petition to inspect is granted, Thompson wrote in his ruling. Thompson ruled that the examination will be subject to requirements, including that it does not disrupt the integrity of any of the votes or their storage and maintenance, of course, because if there were any violations that happened beforehand, you can't do anything of that. It does not reveal the name of any voter, of course, and does not interfere with any current recount. Unsure of any recounts currently happening in Maricopa County, though. The court will also choose a member of the defense team and another person chosen by the court to participate in the ballot inspection. Of course, you want an impartial third party, and then, of course, an adversarial party to nominate somebody to make sure that everything's on the up and up, right? In arguing against Lake's petition to inspect the ballots, Andy Ganoa, I'm sure these are going to be novel arguments, literally undermining our democracy. You're just sad you lost. Just run back all of the arguments from 2020, I would imagine. A lawyer at Arizona Secretary of State office. Of course! How very funny that they would be using a lawyer directly from there. No conflict of interest was sent. None was received. Contended that Lake's complaint was invalid. It's already been certified, bro. What are you complaining about? The request to see the ballots was also invalid. Yeah, but you lost on that one. Oh well, hopefully this is setting a dangerous precedent. Maybe. I don't know, man. I just want the will of the people of Arizona to be heard and then also verified, because that's just as important. One side could tell me that, everybody's complaints were heard, but if they aren't listened to and inspected, is that really fair? Thompson responded that these were different matters and they would rule on the motions to dismiss the case separately. And yeah, haven't heard anything about that so far. Wouldn't imagine anything would come down on Sunday or anything like that, but I could be mistaken. Could come out early in the morning as well. Lake contends that she won the midterm elections and has requested the court to invalidate the results and declare her the winner or call a new vote. Of the two remedies that are there, I could see a new vote, okay? But then you'd also have to take a look at how the election was run, because depending on the ruling, then who would have to operate that stuff? Would Katie Hobbs not be able to fulfill her role as Secretary of State at that point? You can see the cascading effect of this, but the fact that it's actually going to be going to trial, very interesting. Saying that issues at polling places in Maricopa County on Election Day tainted the outcome and disenfranchised voters. Yes, of course, because in the early stages, I recall this as well on midterm day, okay, there were ballot tabulation errors that were going down, okay, people were having to put aside their ballots or have to wait in hours-long lines, and the people that would be voting for Kari Lake actually had fucking jobs to go to, as opposed to the Democrats that would have been voting for Katie Hobbs. I just about mixed up the two names. Heaven forbid, one's fuckable, the other one is tossable with the help of heavy machinery. So I don't know, maybe because this is such a complex issue, I could just see a judge not wanting to pull the trigger on this, but this is a Superior Court judge in the state, so that's going to be the highest level. I'm not entirely sure. Is it Superior and then Supreme? Because in a couple of other states, it's Supreme that's on, or it's Superior that's on. It's all just kind of funky. Obviously, depending on which way this shakes out, if it goes in Lake's favor, this is going to get appealed, and then it'll go to the Supreme Court, and then it might go to the Supreme Court, and the U.S. Supreme Court. So we're far from over at this point, unless, of course, it just gets tossed outright, and then it's like, well, what the fuck? Anyways, election data shows that Lake, a local television host backed by former President Donald Trump, lost to Democrat Katie Hobbs in current Arizona Secretary of State and Governor-elect by about 17,000 votes. And catch this one, or around 0.6 percentage points. Automatic recount is within half a percentage point. Very convenient. 0.6% to 17,000 votes. Listen, bro, you just lost. It's like, really? However, Lake's legal team alleges that 135,000 illegitimate ballots were tallied, greatly exceeding Hobbs's 17,000 ballot margin of victory. Some would say that's just about tenfold. 9 at least. According to the lawsuit, Maricopa County voters were disadvantaged on Election Day by long lines and printer problems. The printers that Katie Hobbs assured everybody, I just bought them and they're great, and then they didn't work. It's like, well, what do you expect? They got to be used all the time. Once every 2 years. Great. Maricopa County officials, including Board of Supervisors Chairman Bill Gates, you can't make this shit up, kids, and recorder Stephen Richter admitted at a press conference that printer issues prompted some voters to cast votes and drop boxes, but subsequently stated that no voters were disenfranchised. Of course, yeah, nobody was disenfranchised. Nobody, hey man, if you guys came down and you wanted to vote, nobody was left hanging their heads being like, well, fuck's sakes, man, I just came in and wanted to cast my vote, and then all of a sudden it's like, and now we got fucking ballot counting problems, and I can't come back before the fucking polls close because I got places to be and, you know, people to go see, so fuck. But nobody was disenfranchised. Bill Gates, you know, just the name of authenticity, that is, he's gonna go ahead and reinforce that, no, everything is great and my friend won. Fucking kidding me. So yeah, let's just cover this all up before we punch out. Earlier this week, Thompson informed all parties, well, last week this would have been, involved in the lawsuit, including Hobbs, the Maricopa County Board of Supervisors, and other county officials, that the legal matter will be set on an accelerated basis after the court reviewed Lake's verified statement of election contests. Ooh, wow, those are actually being heard this time around. That's a new thing. Attorneys for Hobbs and Maricopa County asked the judge to dismiss Lake's challenge during the hearing on Tuesday, and he's like, yeah, no, fuck off. The secretary does believe the court will be able to dispose of this case in entirety on motions to dismiss without the need for an evidentiary hearing. And then he's like, actually not, and you can go inspect some randomly selected ballots. Oh, fuck. It was said during the hearing, according to local media, attorneys from Hobbs and other defendants claim that Lake's lawsuit was based on pure speculation about what might have happened and our democracy is at risk. Claims in the Lake lawsuit are insufficient for a court to reduce the vote totals in the official certification and alter the outcome of the election, the motions further said. Lake's attorneys have until Saturday at noon to respond to the motions. I haven't seen anything. I took a look. Lake said her legal defense will include 4 whistleblowers testifying, including someone from runback election services, a vendor used by Maricopa County. There are a plethora of problems that went down in Maricopa County, and if somebody doesn't stand up and say, we can't have our elections being run this way, then we'll never have another fair election. Lake told Fox News' Tucker Carlson, but he's a bigot, bro. If Lake can prove anything close to 135,000 legal ballots were counted, that would rise above the margin of Hobbs's victory. So, and then it'll eventually come down to, okay, well, what do we do about this? Do we run it back? I think that would ultimately be the solution at the end of the day, as opposed to, ooh, yeah, that's all weird, so we're just going to go ahead and give you the election. I don't really think it would end up going like that, but then again, this is completely uncharted territory. I'm sure that there's probably some other elections that are out there where there is precedent, but at this high of a level, nothing comes to mind, okay? We will be seeing what's up at the beginning of this week, in the next couple of hours, hell. See what they can find out with these, affidavit signing whistleblowers. Okay, that'll be great when the trial does eventually start, when they're able to take a look at the ballots, what they're going to end up finding. This could be a turning point, or it just could end up being a big old nothing burger when it's all said and done. And maybe Arizona's, slowly turning into a blue state. Well, slowly is a bit of an understatement. Being blitzkrieged by escaping Californians, thinking that, it's not the policies that are out of touch, it's clearly the rubes in Arizona that just don't understand the great benefits of the California socialist policies. We need to go ahead and bring them here. It's like, well, why did you have to leave in the first place? Oh, because taxes were getting so much. It's like, oh, okay, continue to vote for those same failed policies that shooed you out of your home state. Really good thinking that you have right there. But until we have more of a development, with all of that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.